was the night before Christmas, and all through the house, everybody was real drunk, especially the mouse. He was the last guy still walking, I think, 'cause I remember him coming up to me and asking for a drink. And he just stood there wobbling, he held up his cup, and he said, "Pour me a double or I'll kick you in the butt." Well, I wasn't too worried about some drunk little mouse. Besides, it was Christmas, and we were in his house. So I poured him a triple and he gave it a whack. Well, he no sooner finished, he was flat on his back. And as gentle as I could, so as to spare his little life, I kicked him under the sofa, alongside the wife. Well, I had one last snort, laid down on the floor, put some wood on the fire and listened to it roar. And before I knew it, I was out like a light, dreaming of naked women dancing in the night. But then I thought I heard Christmas bells filling the air, and it kinda woke me up, and I sleep like a bear. And as I ran upstairs, I heard all this clatter, stuck my head out the window and said, "What the heck's the matter? It's well after midnight, or ain't you got a clock?" And that's when I saw it, and my heart dang near stopped. There on my roof, and how it got there I don't know how, was a great big red sleigh being pulled by a cow. A big ugly cow with a great big red nose and a miniskirt and makeup and black fishnet hose. Well, I slammed shut the window and downstairs I shot, ran into the living room, and guess who I caught? You know, you be a nice guy and you spare his little life, and there was that dang mouse trying to make out with my wife. Well, the stupid little fool, he'd get nowhere real soon. She couldn't wake up for nothing. She'd been drinking since noon. Well, just then the house shook and the room filled with smoke, and there was firewood and black ashes everywhere, and I started to choke. So I ran to the window to let in some air, and I bumped into some fat guy in red underwear. He stared right by me, and I said, "How'd you get in here?" He pointed at the fireplace as he cracked open a beer. "Well," I said, "Pardon me, Roy, and who the heck are you? And why don't you use the door like most folks do?" Just then his eyes twinkled and his face got a smirk, and he bounced over to the fireplace and said, "I'm Santa Claus, you jerk." Then he tweaked on his nose and up the chimney he tore. But I know he got stuck, 'cause I heard him when he swore. So I ran up the stairs to watch him pull away, and when I got there, the fat guy was getting in the sleigh. Then he took out his whip and he whacked something I couldn't see. But she squealed and she giggled and she jumped up on his knee. Then he turned back and looked at me and winked his little eye as the sleigh just took off out into the sky. 'Twas the night before Christmas and I just shook my head. After all that had happened, I should be in bed. But I felt there was a message or a lesson to be learned. And when I got downstairs, I smiled as I turned, 'cause the whole place was sparkly, and joy was so near. And I thought of the mouse and my wife so dear, and I thought, I gotta get her to bed somehow. I lifted up the sofa, and there was Santa's cow. Well, it jumped up to grab me, with lust on its mind. The mouse took one look, and right there he went blind. I grabbed the mouse and we ran from that big ugly goof, upstairs out the window and onto the roof. What a way to spend Christmas! A cow in the house, my wife with fat Santa, and me with a blind mouse. And I screamed out, "Come back, fatty, so's I can tear off your head." But he didn't, so I beat up the mouse instead. And he sued me, and he won, and he took every last slug. And now I got nothing, and it's Christmas. Humbug.